pie chart shows the composition of something, typically the percentages or numerical quantities between categories, by dividing a circle into proportional segments. Stacked bar charts are used to show how a larger category is divided into smaller categories and what the relationship each part has to the total amount. Histograms show the distribution of data over a continuous interval or time period. They're useful for showing central tendencies and whether there's any gaps or outliers in your data as well. Here's an example of how photographers use them to assess the exposure and contrast of images they are taking. Scatterplots use collections of dots, or other things in this case, to display data from two variables, one on the x-axis and the other on the y. They are useful for showing relationships or correlations between variables. The workhorse of visualizations, line charts, display quantitative values over a continuous interval or time period. They're most often used to show trends and analyze how data has changed over time. We selected this example of an area graph first because it's apparently very hard to find humorous ones, and second to mention the site Information is Beautiful, which is a fantastic archive of visually stunning and compelling data visualizations. Area graphs are line graphs with the area under the line filled in, and like this one, they can pack in quite a bit of information. They're also useful, like line graphs, for showing continuous data over time, and are best suited to demonstrating volumes or trends versus inspecting specific values. Maps can show distributions in distance, composition, relationships, volume, and changes over time. Remember Napoleon's March? That was a map that also included an area chart and a temperature line graph. They're an incredibly effective, high-context form of communication. We'll look at an example of maps as a part of data storytelling in government at the end of this course. Now you've got a matrix of some of the more common visualizations, which can help you choose which to use based on the kind of data you have and what you want to communicate. You'll notice that a few of these are empty. If you've only got one variable, it's pretty hard to make a comparison. And if you've got more than two variables, showing the composition all in one chart gets pretty unwieldy, and you might want to look at ways you could break up those visualizations. If you ever need a humorous break from your daily analysis duties, take a spin over to viz.wtf and peruse their listing of unusual data visualizations. Honestly, we had a hard time picking our favorite, but this one of a 243% baby boomer might just be it. This visualization is problematic because it uses a visually catchy stacked bar chart approach. But in a stacked bar chart, the various subcategories have to add up to the whole, and that obviously isn't the case here because there aren't, in fact, subcategories. They are simply unrelated percentages from a survey. Like 78% of the baby boomer surveys said they considered themselves people savvy. This is definitely a case of picking the wrong visualization for the type of data they had. In this section, we covered a basic set of visualizations you can use with data and provided a decision-making matrix for getting started picking which ones might work best for you.